Hello everybody, and welcome back to another World of Tanks video, and welcome back to another low tier match on mines. Now before we get on to this match of today, I would like to make a little bit of a comment on my recent uploading style, I suppose. I've decided to do away with making large chunks of replays and putting them together, and rather just show one replay with the result screen and then just finishing it off. That way when you're watching, hopefully you can look for something a bit more specific than just this heaps and heaps of replays with a variety of tanks in them, etc, etc. This is not something I want. So I've decided to make shorter videos, but hopefully also there will be a bit more of them. And that being said, let's get on with the battle of today, because I'm in my Pz.I C. Now for some reason... Hold on, there we go. We're back on normal speed. For some reason XVM is not showing the odds here. This is perfectly fine with me, but for your information, this was a 30% win chance. Yeah, not that it really matters much in these tier 3 matches. I generally try to ignore them in lower tiers. They don't really say much, people aren't very experienced yet. But about the tank I'm driving the Pz.I C, which is bloody fast, poorly armored. It has very poor penetration, but it fires a metric butt ton of bullets. As that BT7 RT just found out. Now unfortunately I didn't actually notice this at the time, but the enemy team appears to have a Pz.I C which is griefing. Or at least he took a very large amount of shots at his own guy. Okay, that was loud. But as you can see, it might not do a lot of damage per shot and it might not have a lot of penetration, but when it does penetrate, you have so many of these bullets that you can just do a metric butt ton of damage still, at least metric butt ton by tier 3 standards, of course. A little bit of a hiccup in the replay there. Hopefully not too bothersome. I decide to see if I can make my way around. This Pz.I C seems to be very preoccupied with the other side of the rock. Take out the enemy Pz.I C and move on to see what I can spot and what I can shoot at. Now there's also a Pz.I on the enemy team, which is extremely heavily armored, so I'm really hoping that my team is capable of dealing with him, because I sure as hell am not. The Pz.I has 80mm of frontal armor and 50mm of side and rear armor. To put that in comparison, my APCR only has 46mm of penetration, so I actually have no hope in hell of actually penetrating that tank. This is not as heavily armored a tank, but as you can see, it doesn't really matter. Still not capable of penetrating that tank. Now that being said, the penetration might be poor and the damage might be poor, but this is a lot of fun, this tank. When it's top tier, you can just zoom around, and at tier 3 people aren't experienced enough yet to really know how to counter you properly. Generally these tier 3 matches are also hyper aggressive, so there's always a gap in the defenses where you can shoot through, and yeah, this thing will do 60 kilometers per hour on a flat. As you can see here, I'm doing 62 now. 62, 63, way up to 68 there. So yeah, you can appear in this tank in some very strange locations for the enemy and just have fun. I decided not to engage this T1 HMC, also because I have spotted on my minimap that the Pz.I is directly behind me. Now I have decided to keep on moving and see if I can circle strafe this M2 medium. And my armor might be terrible, but it's good enough to bounce APCR of the Pz.I, which should give you an idea of just how terrible that armor really is. Terrible armor. No, the armor is amazing. How terrible the penetration on that gun is. Now luckily the cruiser on the side didn't actually take a shot at me, and I finished the game in style by taking out this M2 medium. So let's take a look at the post-game stats, shall we? So here we are, and again this is the Ace tanker, as you would probably have guessed based upon the video description. This was my daily double, getting 1900 experience here. Was able to do a grand total of 478 damage for 957 base experience, which is extremely nice. As you can see, I fired 184 shots, hit 115 of them, and only penetrated 62. So this is definitely not for us. If your accuracy stats is something that matters to you, and your penetration stats and whatever, then this is not a tank for you. But yeah, I still managed to do over 600 spotting damage on top of the almost 500 damage I did myself, which hefted us a very nice amount of experience, but also, well, it's a tier 3 tank, so don't expect a lot of money, but 8,000 is not bad for a tier 3 tank. And I'm not playing this for the money anyway, this is just for the funsies. I enjoyed this match a lot playing him, and I enjoyed seeing it back as well, these small nippy light tanks I always enjoy watching. Hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll see you for the next one.